And good evening and welcome. It's time for high school softball live from Weslaco, Texas. It's the State Texas Playoffs. Hi, I'm Scott Harrison. This is a K-West production, and we are live on YouTube. Again, the regional quarterfinals of the Texas State High School Softball Playoffs featuring two rivals from District 32-6A. First, it's the Weslaco Lady Panthers, 19-5 this season, 10-4 in district, and they're taking on the Los Fresnos Lady Falcons, 21-3, 12-2 in district. And of course, they are ranked in the rankings. Yes, the Texas Girls Coaches Association state rankings has them number 8. And the Falcons, they have defeated the Panthers 3 times this season. During the regular season, 3-1 and 3-2, and last night 7-1 in Los Fresnos in the first game of this best of 3 series. Now though, we're in Weslaco, the Lady Panthers hosting, and if there is a necessary game 3, if Weslaco wins tonight, it'll be tomorrow, tentatively scheduled at 4 o'clock back at Los Fresnos. But first things first, let's get underway and let us enjoy this game. And of course, we are going to have a lot of excitement. I feel it already. Want to mention real quick the umpires for tonight. Same as last night, except different positions. There's going to be 3 in this playoff series. From the Valley, we have at home plate Freddie Martinez. And actually, we have at first base Renee Cruz. And at third base, we have Adrian. And his name is Ramirez, last name Ramirez. So let us get started. It is the visitors tonight being Los Fresnos, and they are in their grayish type uniforms. Their basic color is crimson, and of course they've got some white numerals. Lady Panthers, they had all purple basic uniforms last night with some white lettering and white numerals. Tonight, basically opposite. They have white uniforms with the purple numerals and purple lettering. Now pitching tonight is going to be the young lady that finished up last night for Cat Reyes. It is going to be Julie Rodriguez, and she is 6-0 this season. And the first pitch is in there, and we are underway. And now the lady batting tonight is also going to be the pitcher who is leading off, and that is going to be Caitlyn Perez. She's just a sophomore, and she pitched a complete game for the victory. And she is a very much, I don't know what you say, made of steel. I remember Superman, the Man of Steel. Well, she has the ability to go a lot of innings. Remember, in the last round, in the area round, upset of the number 1 ranked team in 3 games. It was Los Fresnos over Warren, and this young lady pitched most of the innings in that series, including the second day when it was a doubleheader. So she is very, very good. But first, let's see how she bats. And the count right now is 2-1. Last night, very strong at the plate, as well as being a hitter. Remember her sister, she's a sophomore, her sister, Crystal Perez, who's a junior, had 2 home runs last night, including one that cleared the bases with 2 on. And that is going to be foul down the left field line. Big 5th inning last night for Los Fresnos, as the Lady Falcons had 6 runs, and 3 of them came on a 3-run homer by Crystal Perez. And again, we mentioned that Caitlyn, very good job pitching last night, also had a couple of hits. So she's good at the plate. One of them was a double in that big inning, and I believe she got an RBI in that hit. So she can contribute both offensively and defensively. Julie Rodriguez sees the ball fouled back. Field looks good. Remember, we had all that bad weather earlier this week, but our groundskeepers, Orlando Martinez Sr., you may be familiar with his son. We talk about him in the broadcast when we do the Panthers boys games in baseball. He is the PA announcer, Orlando Martinez Jr. Well, his father is the head groundskeeper, and of course he is helped out, and that is going to be a hit. So very quickly, Caitlyn gets her 3rd hit of the series, and she is on first, leads off with a hit. And we were mentioning the groundskeepers. Hector Caballero is the other groundskeeper, and my hat off, I guess, since I don't wear one, I should say my headset off to these gentlemen for the nice job they have done with this field. So another top player coming to bat, a junior, Victoria Altamirano, left fielder, wears number 11. Very solid hitter. Again, this team very talented. Ball one. Alex Bravo, once again doing the job running the scoreboard, and we're very thankful to be back home. Last night, for whatever reason, maybe it was because of the storm, Los Fresnos had about 4 inches of rain last Tuesday. And remember, there were wind gusts of over 70 miles an hour down in this region. Well, their scoreboard did not work last night, so very hard calling balls and strikes. So I feel spoiled that I have the use of a scoreboard once again. And quickly a 2-0 count. So, again, dangerous hitters up there. All of them for Los Fresnos have the ability to get on base, that is for sure. Wind up and the pitch. And that's going to be a strike, 2-1. Hitters in this lineup, you can't take any of them for granted. You never know who is going to come up strong on a given night. We're talking about Victoria here. Her average is 627. Remember that player from Villa had like a 600 average, and you can see why she hits so well. Gets a single. So already we have runners at first and second, no outs. Back-to-back hits. And we were talking about Victoria. I believe also this year she has 5 home runs. So coming up next, we have the catcher, number 3, a senior, and that is Samantha Campos. Also contributed last night in that big inning. Had a hit, had a double. Also drove in a run in that 6-run 5th inning. We'll see what she can do now. Talking to her coach, Tracy Blackman. She is working on trying to get a scholarship. So we wish her the best of luck. And that is going to be a ball. She is a senior. 1-1 the count. Also tonight, good to be working again with Beto Chavez, our PA announcer. You'll hear him in the background tonight. That is a ball, 2-1. Very clean game, game one. There were no errors by either team. And right now, going to be a discussion in that game. Last night, 9 hits for Los Fresnos, only 4 hits for Weslaco. And 2 of them were by the catcher, who had a nice job, Jules Garcia. She had a hit in the first, and then no more hits for Weslaco until the 6th. That is when Merlin Chavarria and Jordan Diaz got singles. And then all of a sudden the bases were loaded. I believe there was a hit batsman. And Garcia had the single that drove in the only run of the night for Weslaco. After that, a good game closed out by the pitcher Perez. She struck out 3 of the final 5 Weslaco batters. We were talking about the inning, and again, that's going to be popped up, and that will be an out to the shortstop. Cat Reyes, starting pitcher last night, and then was moved to shortstop when Julie Rodriguez came in relief. So the runners stay at first and second, one out. P6 if you're scoring. And now the third baseman, Perez Jr., is coming up, number 7. She's the one that had the 2 home runs last night. A solo shot earlier in the game, and then the 3-run homer during the 6-run inning in the 5th. Remember, we mentioned she's a junior, and her sister, the pitcher, is a sophomore. A lot of excitement last night in that game in the later stages, but early on, quite a pitcher's duel. Ball inside. And we were talking about the lone run for Weslaco that came in the 6th inning. The Lady Panthers loaded the bases as DP Merlin Chavarria and right fielder Jordan Diaz led off with singles, and Lexi Escamilla, who played shortstop and left field, was hit by a pitch. Then Jules Garcia singled in Weslaco's only run of the game, but then we mentioned their pitcher Caitlyn got tough. That'll be an out at third, and unfortunately not a double play. Nice job on the throw, but couldn't quite get it there. Nevertheless, a force at third base. So that makes it 2 outs. And Perez is on a fielder's choice. Her sister is forced out as the ball is picked up by the third baseman, who goes to the bag and makes the out. You hear the fans maybe in the background yelling defense. Swinging strike. Few changes in the lineup tonight for Weslaco. Now at bat is Caitlyn Jimenez, a senior, 13, the DP. And that ball will go down to the shortstop, Kat Reyes, who steps on the bag for the out. So we've played one. No score between Weslaco and also Los Fresnos, as Weslaco will be coming to bat for the first time.
Before Christine McCleary was a physical therapist, she was an honor student at Weslaco ISD, played sports, and was a cheerleader. She graduated from Ohio State University, then physical therapy school at Texas State University. Now she is Dr. Christine McCleary at Triumph Therapy and part of the clinical faculty at UTRGV School of Medicine. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Christine McCleary, WISD was the right choice.
Now we are here in the bottom of the first, and Lily Torres is coming to the plate. All right, wanted to make sure I had my lineup correct. Merlin Chavarria is playing at third and was part of an unassisted out on a fielder's choice. So we do have Lily Torres leading off for Weslaco. We've seen her with a triple in the Harlan series, the only lefty in the lineup, and she fouls that off. Again, Caitlyn Perez pitching tonight. Very solid. We talked about how she can go a lot of innings. I think in that doubleheader, when they beat Warren twice, #1 team in 6A last Saturday, to make it to this round, she went about 10 or 11 innings in that doubleheader, and very quickly, an out for Weslaco. As a line out, Lexi lines out to the third baseman. So one out, and Lexi Escamilla comes to the plate. Third baseman, Perez made that out unassisted. And that ball is going to be out of the reach of the shortstop. So the first hit of the game for Weslaco, remember, they got a hit in the first inning last night, and then they didn't get any hits again until the 6th when they had 3 hits and scored a run. Jules Garcia, again, had 2 of the 4 hits last night for Weslaco. She is the team leader with 32 RBIs. And again, Lexi's on first base with a single. Talked to Jules before the game, and she was in a good mood considering yesterday, just ready to go. And says it doesn't bother her catching a lot of innings, even in this heat. Said she's been a catcher for a long time. She's ready for it. And she, of course, contributes very mightily, both offensively and defensively. Good to have her out there. And we were talking about Lexi, who's on first with a single. A couple of her sisters were big contributors back in 2016 when the team went to the Final Four. Audrey and Alyssa, and went to school together at Temple in Texas, I am told, and since then have gone different directions. I believe Audrey's up in Tyler, and Alyssa is at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So we wish them all the best of luck. Audrey was a catcher, and Alyssa a shortstop and a pitcher on that mighty team. 3-1 is the count to Jules. We know about her ability to hit. Got to be careful around her. Came into the series batting .486, and that's a long fly ball to right field for the first out, or actually the second out, I believe. And Jules hitting near 500 now for the season. But again, flies out on that play to right field. And making the out on that play, by the way, is a player that did not play last night. There has been one change in the lineup for Los Fresnos as Kat Reyes comes to the plate. Remember, in the clinching game against Harlan in the area round, she went 3 for 4, had a 3-run homer in that game, and also pitched very well. Until last night when she took the loss, she was 4-0 pitching in the playoffs. This time another fly to right field, and that is an out also. So 2 fly balls to right field, and that is the end of the first inning. No score between Weslaco and Los Fresnos. In that inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and Lexi Escamilla left on base. So we head to the top of the second.
Before Dania Pulido became an attorney, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a member of the National Honor Society and a cheerleader. She earned her degree from St. Mary's University, then graduated from St. Mary's University School of Law. Now she is Dania Pulido, attorney at law for Texas Legal Services Center in Austin. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Dania Pulido, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
And now leading off the second inning, Andrea Guevara Jr., a second baseman, wears number 2. And I did want to get around to this last inning and never did because of the 2 quick outs. The one player that's different in the lineup tonight is the hitter in the 9 spot. It actually is number 9, Sophie Varela. She's a junior playing right field and replaces Julissa Laraga, number 14, also a junior. She played last night. So that is the only change in the lineup tonight for Los Fresnos. Again, it wouldn't surprise me should Weslaco win tonight if once again we see the starting pitcher being Caitlyn Perez. By the way, I believe the other pitcher that has played a little bit this year, and tonight she is playing shortstop. as she did last night. Aline Avalar. She can pitch or play shortstop. 2-0 the count. And that's going to be a strike, 2-1. Again, we mentioned Julie Rodriguez. She plays left field quite a bit. In this series, the postseason, she's come in relief for Cat in all games, but one prior to this one. Cat, of course, against Villa went all 7 innings for a complete game. 3-1 the count. That also might have been Cat's first complete game of the year. Cat, by the way, is 13-4. Julie 6-0 as a pitcher. Caught the inside corner, 3-2. So nice movement there. Again, maybe not the velocity of Cat, but still very good at positioning her pitches, getting them where they need to be. Last night, a lot of the hitters for Weslaco popped up, a lot of flyouts. Talking to Mayra Rodriguez, the head coach of Weslaco, and great pitch there for a strikeout. First strikeout of the game for Weslaco, but talking to Mayra Rodriguez, he said on Friday night, Caitlyn Perez basically jammed us. Caused us to pop up, got to get the ball on the ground more. We'll see what happens tonight. Next batting, center fielder number 8, a sophomore, Teresa Villa. She was a contributor last night in that big inning, the 5th inning. That's popped up foul. She had a second base hit. She had 2 hits, by the way, for the Lady Falcons last night. The Perez sisters, Caitlyn and Crystal, as well as Villa, each had 2 hits. Crystal, she had those 2 home runs, of course, had 4 RBIs, and Caitlyn, she had a single and a double in that big inning. RBIs last night, we mentioned Perez with 4. Samantha Campos 1. Alina Avatar 1. Caitlyn Perez 1. And, of course, the only run knocked in for Weslaco by Jules Garcia. That is fouled back. 0-2 the count. Weslaco's only run coming in the 6th inning. 6 runs coming for Los Fresnos in the 5th inning. Their big inning. Also got 1 on the homer by Perez in the 2nd. That was actually the first runner that got on base for Los Fresnos. Cat retired the side in order in the 1st in the cleanup spot. As again tonight was Crystal Perez, and she homered for the first hit for Los Fresnos in the 2nd. 1-2 the count. That ball high, 2-2. So far, 2 hits for the visitors from Los Fresnos, the Lady Falcons, 1 for the Lady Panthers. Tracy Blackman, she coaches at first. A lot of coaches go to third. Maybe that's because it's right by her dugout. Impressive record. Been coaching for many years. Has won at the high school level 299 games. So her next win will put her at the 300 mark. Mario Rodriguez, of course, went over the 300 mark this year. So impressive credentials for both the coaches here tonight. 2-2. And got her on the corner, inside corner, strike 3. So second strikeout for Julie, back-to-back strikeouts. And by the way, I want to congratulate the Weslaco seniors They had their annual parade down the street right behind us. All the families on the side of the road watching, and the students in the cars being paraded, a literal parade, down the street before the game. So congratulations and good luck to the class of 2021 for Weslaco. It was fun to watch. All the horns honking and everything. 1-0 the count. We do have, by the way, speaking of seniors, several seniors on Monday that will be signing their letters of commitment to college from the track team. I believe this will be starting over at the gym around 2:30. And I'm not sure if it's going to be live, but the Weslaco crew from K-West will be over there at least getting some video from all the festivities. Count is 1-1. Close. Our batter, by the way, is number 6, the one we were talking about quite a bit, Aline Avalar, who also pitches. 2-1 the count. Again, 2 outs, top of the second. And all these 3 ladies that are going to sign commitments on Monday, I know are on relay teams on the track squad, and that's going to drop in for a single. So now we come to the bottom of the lineup, 9th hitter coming up, and this is the young lady we mentioned didn't play yesterday. Sophie Varela, Sophie Varela is in there, a junior. And she's playing right field today. The track athletes signing letters of commitment on Monday, going to Texas A&M, Kingsville. Destiny Longoria, all right, Destiny Longoria. Also Emma Arndt, West Point. Emma is going to West Point, be part of the Black Knights. And Amity Ebarb signing with the University of Texas at Austin, a Longhorn. And remember, she just comes out of the state meet where she finished 4th in the 800-meter run, and I think it was, about a half second away from getting a medal. If she had finished 3rd, she would have got a medal. So congratulations to all 3 on moving on with their athletic career. And again, they'll be signing their commitments on Monday, and Kay West will be there. That's popped up, and that's going to be caught by Kat for the 3rd out of the inning. So we will go to the bottom of the second. No score here in the regional quarterfinals between Los Fresnos and the Weslaco Lady Panthers.
In 1921, 100 years ago, WISD started educating the area children. Bring 2 sack lunches and tools to help clear a field for athletics, the notice said. Buildings from the early years serve as a reminder of how far we have come. Through all the history and over time, educating students, expanding horizons, changing the world, helping build this community. Weslaco ISD, 100 years in the making, and still the right choice.
And again, big crowd here. Spirit sticks are out. Couple of the mascots have come out, mascot heads, and we see wearing the Panther head, Kat Reyes, and I believe Jordan Diaz came out wearing the unicorn, or one of them. And now Mia Rodriguez comes up as we begin the bottom of the second. Mia entered this series hitting .400, does great fielding at center field. I understand that at lower levels of baseball, she's also played second. So she has the abilities at both places. Where will she play next year? Who knows? Obviously, Lily is graduating. But she has done such a nice job in center field, really tracking down those balls. I mentioned in previous broadcasts how she chased down a lot of flies at Villa. I know she had, 4 or 5 putouts at least in that 7-inning game. Mia, just a freshman. And That is going to be fouled back. I try not to do this very often, but we don't know whether or not this is going to be the final game of the year for Weslaco. We hope not, being Lady Panther fans, but you know that Coach Rodriguez is very proud of her, not only because she's a contributing player, but she's also his daughter. I know she doesn't like us to mention that. We do it very seldom, but tonight we're going to do it. What the heck? I guess Father's Day is about less than a month away, so maybe appropriate. And Alex Bravo, who is our scorekeeper, obviously he's very proud of Miss Nunez because that's his daughter. So we got a lot of proud papas at the ballpark tonight.
Proud uncles, too.
And proud uncles. The uncle always has to chime in here. And I'm glad of that. And I'm not being smart. I have a lot of fun with this man. Beto Chavez is also the uncle of Miss Nunez, and he's very proud of her too. So I'm double teamed here. I've got two members of her fan club that I'm working with in the booth. Unfortunately, that time for Mia, not such a good situation. Struck out on a 2-2 pitch, and that was a tough situation. First strikeout of the game for Caitlyn Perez. Alexis Solis is in, I believe. What is she playing, guys? Do you know? I know there was some switch. She's the DP, all right. So they made a little bit of switch from the starting lineup. Chavarria is playing third, and Alexis Solis is playing over as the DP. And the freshman gets a hit into right field. Nice job.
Up next for the Lady Panthers, number 18, Julie Rodriguez.
18. The junior pitcher now is up, Julie Rodriguez. And again, I'm going to try to get a lot of things tonight. And again, we hope Weslaco moves on, but I want to make sure I get a lot of things in tonight. Because regardless, this will be the final home game in this series. We don't know where Weslaco, if they even move on, will be playing maybe at a neutral site. That has popped a mile high. And we're not talking about an old stadium in Denver. And it goes up, and the third baseman has it as it comes down. Kayla Jimenez. So that is going to be the first out. P5. Merlin Chavarria, the senior, is now up. She is one of 4 seniors on the team. And she is hoping, as the first pitch is a strike, that this will not be her final game in this stadium. Also seniors, Jordan Diaz, Lily Torres, all starting tonight. Diaz in right field, Torres at second base. That's a ball, 1-1. And let's not forget about Emily Luna. Now, she doesn't play every game, but she's been a big contributor when she becomes a designated runner, pinch runner, whatever you want to call it. She comes in, and her speed has resulted in her scoring a number of runs this season. So all 4 of these seniors have been contributors, and we wish them the best in the future, and hopefully this is not going to be their final softball game. 1-2 the count. Again, I told Coach Blockman before the game for Los Fresnos, I expect this to be a very competitive game. Only time will tell, but what was good before the game, Weslaco seemed very relaxed in a good way, not unfocused, but just not letting the pressure of the moment get to them. They had a giant inflatable soccer ball out there before the game they were passing around. I would have loved to have that in my days when I went to a lot of rock concerts. That would have been great to hit around on the main floor. I don't think they even allow beach balls anymore. And that is a swinging strike, and that ends the inning. So we have now gone through 2 complete no score between Weslaco and their opponent, Los Fresnos. So we go to the 3rd inning, again, the top of the order. Caitlyn Perez, the sophomore. She had a hit her first time up. Again, she's also the pitcher. And now, so far, she has 3 hits in the 2 games in this series. last night. Nice job pitching. 8 strikeouts, no walks. Did hit a batter, and that loaded the bases right before Jules Garcia had the hit that drove in the run last night. And that ball is singled. So 4 hits now in the series for Perez, as she has 2 singles in this game, had a single and a double last night. And next, Victoria Altamirano is up. She singled in the first, but she was then eventually forced out on a fielder's choice. Top of the lineup. Tough for this team, but you'd expect that. Perez, by the way, who's on first. In the game at Los Fresnos, where Weslaco lost 3-2, she had the walk-off homer. The walk-off homer that won the game for the Lady Falcons. That shows you how really evenly these teams are matched. You throw out that one big half inning, what was it, the 5th, for Los Fresnos, and that game would have been 1-1. And obviously you can't really throw it out, but we're just saying it wasn't like last night. Los Fresnos just dominated the whole game. They had a real big inning, but again, they're an explosive team. But then so are the Lady Panthers. 1-1 the count right now. By the way, Kat Reyes is available. Everybody is available tonight that's suited up. And that is going to be caught by the pitcher. And over to Romy Nunez, doubling up the batter. Outstanding. That was lined to the pitcher. Hard shot. And Julie Rodriguez had the presence of mind to turn to first, throw it quickly to Romy, and doubled off the batter. So, first double play, I believe, of the series for Weslaco. Nice job doubling up the batter. And now that brings up Samantha Campos. Had an RBI with a double last night in the big inning. And she is a senior. So nice job there. Got rid of it quick, showed athleticism. Strike one. We're talking about the uniforms for Los Fresnos. They have crimson and white. And talking to Coach Blockman, Tracy, before the game, she said, or I said to her, that crimson doesn't look so much like Alabama. She says, nah, we're not Alabama crimson. We're Texas A&M crimson. So I liked her response. That's a ball outside. One of my, or strike, excuse me, strike. 0-2. Speaking of Alabama, of course, Nick Saban, great coach, is from Fairmont, West Virginia. One of my favorite trivia questions is, who else famous is from Fairmont besides Coach Saban? Well, the great gymnast from the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, Mary Lou Retton. So, a couple of top names in their professions come from Little Fairmont, West Virginia. I've driven through there before. I used to live in West Virginia. It's a nice little town, not huge or anything. I guess you call it a small city. But Nick Saban and Mary Lou Retton from there. Remember her being on all the Wheaties boxes back in the mid-'80s after winning those gold medals at the Olympics. Wow, almost went for that pitch. 2-2 the count. Again, Victoria, one of the top hitters, I guess maybe the top hitter for this team average-wise. Has good pop on the ball, can put it out. I remember last night, speaking of home runs, the 2 by Crystal. In that field, you can see the street beyond center field. We saw the ball bounce in the street. That's going to be a long drive and goes off the wall. I don't know if the sun played any effect. Went off the glove, but we're going to call it a hit, I guess. Not sure. An error? All right, that's what I've been told. So, Samantha gets on. At least right now called an error. And it was off the glove of the left fielder, Alexi Escamilla. But again, fortunately, 2 outs. Unfortunately, it's Crystal Perez up. And we're going to have a pinch runner coming in. Pinch runner for the Lady Falcons is Julissa Laraga. She is the young lady that played right field last night, so she'll be in the scorebook as a participant in both games. And a walk. Can't blame him for putting Crystal on with 2 outs since the runner is on second. Kayla Jimenez is next. Perez, again, 4 RBIs last night on 2 home runs. Don't want to see her up there. Runners at first and second, scoreless game. Remember, this time yesterday, Weslaco was already down 1-0 because of Crystal's first solo shot in the second inning. Let's hope a different outcome. Later on, we'll review that 6th-run 5th inning for the Lady Falcons if you did not get to view the game last night. Ball 2. Sun is beginning to set, but still very bright out there. Don't know if that had any factor on the last play at the wall. Wall could have played a factor too in that error. That's popped up to center, coming in and getting the ball. Nice job. And we talked about how she fields. Great job by Mia Rodriguez for the 3rd out of the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd. No score between the Lady Falcons and Lady Panthers.
Before David Lozano started practicing law, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. He participated in UIL athletics. He was a regional qualifier. He earned college credits through the dual enrollment program. After high school, he attended the University of Texas before graduating from St. Mary's School of Law. Now he helps people in need as an attorney. WISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For David Lozano, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
So we are going to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Jordan Diaz will be coming to the plate, the number 8 right fielder. She, of course, had some nice games here in the playoffs, multi-RBI games. First ball inside. We talked about how Caitlyn Perez has jammed hitters in this series so far. And that's going to be a grounder to short. Long throw and got her. Wow, it took every ounce of effort to get that ball across as Jordan was flying down the base paths, but it's just an out. 6-3 as we see Avalar get the ball down to Gonzalez. So back to the top of the order, Lily Torres came into this series hitting .375, ball 1. Only lefty in the lineup, a little slap hitter. And I'll tell you what, she has some speed when she's on the base paths. She bunts the ball, and that is a nice bunt. And that is going to be a base hit. Not sure if the catcher should have tried to field it. It might have gone foul, it might not have, but doesn't matter now because Lily is on first base with 1 out. Lexi Escamilla, just a sophomore, came into this series batting .357. She had a single in the first inning. Was the first hit of the game for Weslaco. Weslaco with a single now in each inning. See if they can capitalize. Of course, Solis had a single in the second, and we just saw Lily get hers. Now we have 4 hits for Los Fresnos and 3 for Weslaco. Pulls back on the bunt attempt. It's a ball, 1-1. Of course, Mario Rodriguez, he is coaching right by his dugout at third base. Talking right now to his batter, giving some advice. Nothing like playoffs, as we mentioned, in any sport. A lot of suspense. Now there'll be a discussion on the mound. We were talking before the game with Coach Blockman. A lot of strong hitters on their team. Campos came into the series hitting over .521. Caitlyn herself, the pitcher, hitting .479 with 11 doubles. Crystal, who had the 2 home runs last night, her sister, Crystal Perez. According to Coach Blackman, those might have been only, well, her first multi-home run game of the season, but actually, before that, I think she only had 1 home run, so hitting a lot of home runs is not something Crystal does often. Back to action. Taking on that pitch, as Alex says here in the press box, good eye, and the count is 2-1. Trying to get a runner into scoring position. And that ball is going to be a slow roller to third, throw to second for the force out. Nice job. You can see the fundamentals and the execution is there for Los Fresnos. One of the reasons they had no errors last night. Third baseman comes up, cleanly fields that. Very fluid motion to second for the out, for the force out. Getting Lily Escamilla off base. Excuse me, Lily Torres off base. And Lexi Escamilla on first on a fielder's choice. Lily is forced out. 5-4. Third baseman to second baseman, Guevara. And again, Jules Garcia, who definitely can hit home runs, comes to the plate. Wind in double digits. Most games this year we've had wind in double digits. Nothing like the other night. Tuesday night, the winds in Weslaco, 56 miles an hour. I know where I live in McAllen, 65 miles an hour. And remember, a Cat 1 hurricane is 75 miles an hour. So, and that's a long fly ball, and that is in the parking lot. Jules has done it. She has put Weslaco ahead 2-0. That is a pretty home run to center field. And again, coming in is Jules Garcia. She leads the team now with 34 RBIs, has all 3 RBIs in this series. One last night in the 7-1 loss on a single with the bases loaded that drove in a run. And now she drives in Lexi Escamilla, who reached on the fielder's choice. And again, 2 more RBIs, and Weslaco is ahead 2-0. Maybe that's why Jules got early. This is a little bit of humor. Back when I got here, I usually park in the regular parking lot. There's a kind of special parking lot right by the field. I don't usually use that. I don't want to call it the VIP lot. I just use the regular lot. But tonight I couldn't because of the parade, and Jules came early. She couldn't park in the regular lot either. Well, maybe she had a premonition that she was going to hit the ball out of the park and didn't want to risk putting the ball into her windshield. Now, the cars are safe back there. I'm just kidding around. No one's going to get their windshield hit by a home run. But Jules did good, and maybe she has started something because Kat just got a double. Now, somebody might rule there might have been a little fumbling on the ball in center field, and maybe it was a base hit and she got to second on an error. But right now we are going to be generous and give a 2-base hit to Kat Reyes. And that brings up Mia Rodriguez. Of course, Kat playing shortstop tonight. She'll be ready to pitch if she needs to. And I would feel if this goes to a deciding third game, she'll pitch tomorrow. Mia Rodriguez, who struck out her first time, is now up. But that was another nice hit. Remember, there was one inning in there, and I don't know if it might have been the fifth, where there were long fly balls by all three batters for Weslaco. The ball was hit hard, and it was outs to, I'm not sure it was this order, but outs to left field, right field, and center. And we were just waiting to see maybe when the ball would start falling in. And I had a feeling it might start doing that at some point tonight. But again, we know that this team, Los Fresnos, can explode. So no lead is safe. We've said that many times, both when talking about Weslaco and a number of their opponents. No lead is safe, and I hate to bring up a bad subject, but I did the game when the Weslaco boys were ahead 6-1 to Harlingen and wound up losing 21-8 here. And that reminds me never to be overconfident. I felt bad for the boys that night, but kind of a learning experience for all of us. So 2-1's the count. Kat always enthusiastic on base. Remember, she's been coming out all night. You know, she's a junior, but she comes out wearing the Panther hat, trying to encourage everyone. And they've got all kinds of headgear, and she even said to me the other day that, well, that's going to be a long fly ball to center. That's going to be caught, and that is going to be the third out of the inning as Mia Rodriguez flies out. But a two-run homer by Jules Garcia gets the first runs on the board, and after three complete, Weslaco leads 2-0 over the Lady Falcons.
Before Harlan Block raised the flag over Iwo Jima, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. There he played for the Panthers, won a championship, and learned some of the leadership skills he and 7 other students used while serving in the Marines. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prominent graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For war hero Harlan Block, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
So we are now going into the fourth inning. Weslaco ahead at 2-0. And coming to the plate, Andrea Guevara, a junior, going to try to get things going. Middle of the order. And we see coming back into the stands. Yeah, is that Jules' dad we see? All right, Jules' dad coming back with the softball. A foul ball, strike one. When a player hits a home run, they get to keep the softball. So some of these girls, I know, have like 4 or 5 balls of souvenirs this year. Something to put on the mantle over the fireplace. And as everybody's talking about in the press box, Jules really crushed that home run. And that was certainly for sure. So it's a 1-1 count. But we had a nice talk again with Jules before the game. First time I've really had a chance to chat with her. And maybe if that's good luck, I should talk to 3 or 4 of the girls before the game tomorrow. We'll see. I'm superstitious. That ball off the pitcher's glove, but nice job by Kat trying to pick it up and get it down to Nunez at first. Couldn't quite do it. So is that going to be a hit or error? Hit. All right, a hit. Even though it went off the pitcher's glove, we're going to rule that a hit. And we are going to have a hit to begin this inning. And Teresa Villa, a sophomore who struck out her first time up, is at the plate. By the way, Guevara and Villa in the second inning were back-to-back strikeout victims. Only 2 strikeouts tonight so far for Julie Rodriguez. Pitch out, thinking maybe the runner would run and actually get it down to first real quick. Lily Torres ran over from her position at second base, trying to sneak up on the runner. Couldn't quite do it, but it was close to a pickoff. So the count is 1-0. And Julie, good spinner. That's going to be a bunt down to first for the out. We saw Lily covering second as Romy Nunez ran in trying to go after the ball. Excuse me. But a nice job by Torres covering first. Sacrifice gets the runner on first down to second. Guevara goes to second. And Villa is out. on that play. So Aline Avelar, who singled her first time up, comes to the plate. And Avelar now has 3 hits in the series, by the way. Runner in scoring position. Both teams with 5 hits apiece. Stands packed tonight, as you might expect for a game of this magnitude. Lots of purple. Of course, I'm familiar with that. Cover a lot of LSU football, so very familiar with purple. Sometimes LSU has 100,000 people there. The ball goes off the backstop behind the plate. 1-1 the count. Nice night for baseball. Rain will not be a factor tonight. We go to a third game. We'll just keep our fingers crossed for tomorrow. Right now, the scheduled starting time is 4 o'clock. Possibly, it could be moved up. And that ball gets by the catcher. Wild pitch, and runner will go to third. So Guevara gets to third. What always scares you with a runner down there. Can take just a fly ball or ground out to bring in the runner. Since there's only 1 out, you have to be very aware of that if you're a fielder. And by the way, that error earlier in the outfield by Weslaco was only the first error in this series. Errorless baseball, I should say softball, yesterday. So both teams have shined defensively. And the error turned out to be harmless. No runs scored as a result of that error for Los Fresnos that occurred the last inning. 8th batter up in the lineup. But just like Weslaco, don't be fooled by where a batter is in the lineup. We know how good Jordan Diaz is in the 9th slot. All the RBIs she has gotten in the postseason. A lot of these hitters for both teams very dangerous. A lot of power out there. See what happens tonight. Wind blowing out. That aids the hitters. And that's going to be a long fly ball. And that is going to be out of here, just as we talk about how the wind is helping hitters. A deep fly to center field ties this game up. 2-run homer. So Guevara comes in from third. And Avelar gets her 2nd hit of the night. I believe 4th of the series. This time a home run to center field. None of these are cheap shots. These home runs we're seeing are over 230 feet. And now the score is tied at 2-all here in the top of the 4th. Sophie Varela now is up. Popped out to short to Cat, her first time up. For a few moments, takes a little steam out of the Weslaco supporters, but keep in mind, it's just a tie game. Now we hear very quickly Weslaco fans up and at it, cheering on their team. Nice night for baseball. It's hard to believe we were going to have these fields in decent shape. My hat's off to both the ground crews at Los Fresnos and here. I don't know how many inches of rain were in Weslaco. We mentioned Tuesday 4 inches in Los Fresnos. And that's going to be a high fly ball. Coming up and getting it is Jordan Diaz. So now we have 2 outs. And back to the top of the order, Caitlyn Perez, who already has 2 hits in this game. Had a couple hits yesterday, so she already has 4 hits in the series. just like Avalar. Avalar with 3 RBIs, and that is going to be line to left for the out. Played perfectly that time by the left fielder. And in the top of the 4th, we have 2 runs, and now it is tied up between the Lady Panthers of Weslaco and the Lady Falcons of Los Fresnos at 2-all. So we are going to the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Weslaco Lady Panthers trying to regain the lead. And Alex Solis is up. Had a hit her first at bat. Then Julie Rodriguez. That's going to be popped up. Foul. Foul on the right side. And we've seen Solis with some valuable playing time this year take advantage, get some hits. A good outlook for the future. We mentioned earlier 4 seniors will be moving on after this season. But Weslaco, middle school players and such, always have some talent coming up. And that's good news. 1-1 the count. Sun beginning to set will no longer be a factor as far as any possible errors by having a ball lost in the sun. That no longer will be an excuse. 1-2 the count. I always talk to the umpires before the game. They ask me how they did. I always tell them good. I don't want them ever to turn on us. But no, all joking aside, umpires did a nice job last night. No criticism there. I like to have a little fun with them. Over the years, I used to be in the Southern League and traveled with the San Diego Padres AA team for a couple years. At that time, they were the Mobile Bay Bears. And before the games, we'd get to the ballpark early, and I would sit and talk with the umpires and chat with them. And these, when you're in AA ball, they're pretty young guys. And we always had interesting conversations. And over the years, I've had a chance to talk with referees from major college football. And, you know, when you really get to know them, they're interesting people. So, after a meeting at the mound, the count is 1-2. Change up, and that is going to be a called strike. Big out. Solis strikes out to lead off the 4th. Julie Rodriguez next coming to the plate. And entering this series, her ERA was under 2. Had a 6-0 record this season. Plays left field quite a bit. A lot of times when she goes out, the game that is, to pitch, not out of the game entirely, but I mean out of the field, out of the outfield to go to the mound. A lot of times Kat Reyes, who's pitching, will go to short. And Merlin Chavarria will go to left. Some of the changes they do. That ball fouled off. I'm sure with the possibility of a third game very much at stake at this moment, they would like to see Rodriguez go as many innings as possible and try to have Katia as fresh as possible for tomorrow. But they'll do what they have to do, both coaches, in order to win. 1-2 the count. Again, Weslaco thinking maybe this will be a close game, but you never know. We saw that 5th inning yesterday with 6 runs for the visitors. Tonight, at least. 2-2 the count. Wind up in the pitch, and it's going to be fall. Yes, it's going to fall. Left fielder try to make a nice reach for it. Diving attempt, but it fell in there. And Rodriguez is on first base with 1 out. A nice job by Altamirano to try to dive and catch that ball. Good play by the center fielder, backing her up to make sure it didn't turn into a double or triple. We're talking about Teresa Villa. Now we are going to have a pinch runner, and one of the seniors, one of the 4 seniors we talked about her earlier, has contributed quite a bit as a pitch runner, designated runner, whatever you want to call it. We're talking about Emily Luna. So now all 4 seniors will have a chance to be in this game. I'm not sure Luna got in last night or not, possibly. Can't remember, but she is definitely playing tonight as a pinch runner. And that is going to be, that's going to be fair down the left field line. And unfortunately, Luna tripped going toward third base, and you can see her shake her head. Not sure if she would have come in or not, but she's okay. Slipped and fell, but that's still good. Rodriguez clapping her hands behind her head or above her head. I should say I apologize. Chavarria clapping her hands above her head at second base with a double. And Luna now at third. So runners in scoring position. Chavarria gets the double. And Luna is at third. Still just 1 out. And Jordan Diaz at the plate, the right fielder. Infield playing in. Want to have the ability to make a play at the plate. No indication Diaz is going to bunt. And that's a called strike, 0-2. So you're not really in a situation where you can bunt now, because if you foul it off and you have 2 strikes on you, it's a strikeout. We've seen some young ladies try to bunt this season in District 32 6A with 2 strikes and foul out. Decided to take that pitch. Just missed. 1-2. So 2 of the seniors up there right now. 1 batting Diaz and Luna at third. 2 of the 4 seniors, and that's going to be a swinging strikeout. So Diaz strikes out, and that is going to be the 4th strikeout of the game for Perez. Perez had 8 strikeouts last night. So in less than 12 innings, Perez has 8 strikeouts in this series. Excuse me, 12 strikeouts. High fly ball, and it's called, I believe, by the third baseman. And that is going to be the final out of the inning. So we've played 4 complete, still tied at 2 between the Weslaco Lady Panthers and the Lady Falcons of Los Fresnos.
WHS. Let's dream it. Let's shout it. Let's dream it. Let's shout it.
So we do, again, go to the 5th inning. Mentioned that yesterday 6 runs were scored by Los Fresnos in the 6th inning, but that time they were the home team. They were playing in the bottom of the inning, batting in the bottom of the inning, not the top. We'll see how they do this time. And that is going to be a hit to start off the inning. It looked like infielder got hit in the knee maybe, or finger or whatever, but again, we'll call it a hit.
Before Clarissa Renteria was a dentist, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a cheerleader, played softball, and started college early through the dual enrollment program. She graduated from UTPA before earning her degree from the University of Texas School of Dentistry in Houston. Now she is Dr. Renteria, creating beautiful smiles at Professional Dental Group. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Dr. Clarissa Renteria, WISD was the right choice.
Lexi Escamilla moves to short. And we'll try to get the rest of the lineup changes as we can. We'll see who's in the left field. Okay, Alexis Solis is in left field. So that's the changes as Kat comes out of the ball game with a hand injury. I guess she can come back in, but we'll hope she's all right. So again, at bat is Samantha Campos. Altamirano opened up the inning with a single. And Campos at the plate. High fly ball towards center field. And that's going to be out of here. It didn't look like it had that much drive on it. A sleepy fly ball that just kept going, maybe aided by the wind, obviously, and it's a 2-run homer. So Campos gets a 2-run homer. Altamirano scores. And that is the second home run of the game for Los Fresnos. Avalar also with a 2-run homer last inning. So two-run homers have resulted in the 4 runs for Los Fresnos. And now they are ahead 4-2. 8 hits for the Lady Falcons, 7 for the Lady Panthers. Crystal Perez, who has a couple home runs in this series, intentionally walked last time up. Reached on a fielder's choice. Our first at bat. At the plate. Liner straight into the glove of Rodriguez. And that is the first out. Caitlyn Jimenez is now up. Looking for her first hit of the night. Campos, by the way, now has 3 RBIs in this series. Ball 1. Remember, Weslaco, had like a 10-game winning streak snapped yesterday. The time it was the longest in the valley. And that is going to be foul ball, just barely down the left field line. Weslaco opened up the playoffs. 2 wins over Villa. Best of 3 series. Then neutral site in Laredo. Beat Harlan out of San Antonio 2 straight. That ball, single into center. So bats coming alive. It's been a dangerous time, the 5th inning, if you're a Weslaco fan, if you're playing Los Fresnos in this series. They have now scored a total of 8 runs in the 2 5th innings. 6 yesterday and 2 today, and we're not out of the inning yet. Andrea Guevara up. She had the single in the last inning to open it up. Then 2 batters later, it was Avalar with that home run that scored her. Those were the first runs of the ball game for the Lady Falcons. And that ball is going to be caught. Escamilla Moves a few steps. Catches the soft liner for the second out of the inning. Teresa Villa, just a sophomore, is up next. Villa has struck out and grounded out. Time. Again, a discussion on the mound. This is a time where there's no room for error for either team, but especially for Weslaco. Want a chance to play in that deciding third game tomorrow. Again, that will be in Los Fresnos. Coming into this game, we talked about Julie. She had an ERA of 1.75 with a 6-0 record. And Kat, who's not pitched tonight, and we don't know what her situation is. Appeared that was her throwing hand where she had that injury, but we'll just have to wait and see. She had a 1.87 ERA coming into the series, probably over 2 now for the season, and her record is 13-4. So runner on first, 2 away, top of the 5th. Again, we appreciate everybody being a part of all our broadcasts this season. Proud to bring you Lady Panthers softball and all the Panthers sports we've been able to provide. High fly. And Romy Nunez, foul territory, gets it for the third out of the inning. Nice play. So no more damage done, at least not 6 runs this time in the 5th for Los Fresnos. But they did get 2 and took the lead. We've played 4.5. And right now we have a 4-2 lead for the Lady Falcons over the Lady Panthers.
Before Rene Hinojosa became a business executive, he was a student at Weslaco ISD. He participated in UIL academics, designed the original Wildcats logo, was an all-state academic middle linebacker. He then played for the Longhorns, graduating with a business degree from UT. Now he's the Director of Strategic Development at Doctors Hospital at Renaissance. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Rene Hinojosa, WISD was the right choice.
We are now in the bottom of the 5th. And Lexi Escamilla is going to be leading things off, hoping to get a rally, see what she can do. Escamilla, last time up, got up on a fielder's choice and wound up coming in on Jules Garcia's 2-run homer. That, a grounder to third, and by half a step, she's thrown out. So Escamilla out 6-3 to begin the 5th inning.
Up next for the Lady Panthers, number 27,
Avelar
Garcia.
with a throw to the flex player, Natasha Gonzalez. Wears number 10. Gonzalez, by the way, also listed as a catcher and a junior. Okay, an intentional walk to Garcia, as we mentioned, who homered last time. And good news, Kat Reyes is back in the game, batting. So we're glad to see that. Very encouraging. Caitlyn Garcia, a sophomore, will be the pinch runner, seeing her first action of the series. So Kat back in there. We'll see if she gets a chance to field again. See if she'll be back in at shortstop. But the most important thing is she's able to play. After her hand appeared to be injured on a ground ball, fouled off. 0-2. Big sigh of relief right now, at least initially, by seeing her in there. Kat came into this series hitting .424. One thing I do remember, speaking of hitters hitting around the .420 mark, Stacy Batista is hitting .422, and you remember in the Harlan series, her clutch 2-run single as a pitch hitter. So Stacy may get in this game at some point. We'll have to wait and see. She's played as DP or as an outfielder this year. Junior wears number 10. But you do have a very potent bat on the bench if necessary. 1-2 the count. And Kat will line that to second and a double play, and that's going to be the end of the inning. So the second baseman catches it, throws it to first, and doubles off the pinch runner, who over there was Caitlyn Garcia. So we've played 5 complete. Still a 2-run lead for Los Fresnos over the Weslaco Lady Panthers, 4-2.
At Weslaco ISD, we teach our students in pre-K and kindergarten the fundamentals of reading by making it fun so they enjoy learning. Students in first grade are reading chapter books. It starts with pre-K and kinder, then a whole new world opens up with music, robotics, art, folklorico, swimming. Weslaco ISD students can accomplish anything. We know because we have seen the success in our students over time.
Weslaco ISD, learning in person in a safe, clean environment or online with the latest technology provided by WISD. Weslaco ISD, 100 years in the making and still the right choice with safety in mind. Enroll now.
So we are going to be going to the top of the 6th. And leading off this inning is going to be number 6, Arlene Avilar, who, of course, a couple innings back, had a 2-run homer, also singled in this game, has 4 hits in the series. 4 hits and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be a grounder to the pitcher. Underhanded toss to Nunez. Quick out, 1-3. And that's the main thing right now. If you're a Weslaco fan, and we are going to have a pinch hitter. Number 9, Sophie Varela, made outs her 2 appearances in this game. But now Julissa Laraga, who played yesterday in the 9th spot, comes in, possibly will take over in right field. That's where she played yesterday. Again, a junior, number 11. Yesterday's game, did not get a hit in 3 at-bats, but did walk once. And scored in that big 5th inning. There were 5 extra base hits in her walk in that inning. She's the one player that got on base that didn't get an extra base hit, but still came in and scored. 9 hits right now for Los Fresnos. Remember, a 7-inning game. One bit of encouraging news, Weslaco will get the last at bat since they're the home team. Swinging strike. So with Kat not coming back in the field. It may just be precautionary, but a good chance that Julie may be expected to pitch a complete game here. That's going to be fouled back. Lady Panthers, once again, 19-5. They were 10-4 in district, seeded 4th. A matchup of two teams from 32-6A. Los Fresnos, 21-3 now. They were 12-2 in district, and they were seeded number 2. Harlingen and San Benito also made the playoffs. 2-2 the count. Big swinging strikeout. A nice job there. Some high heat. Little riser, and that's going to be a strikeout. Caitlyn Perez, top of the order, with 2 outs. Couple hits tonight. Couple yesterday. Calls for time. It would be assumed that if we do go to a deciding game, a game 3, should Weslaco come back and win, Caitlyn Perez will go. Didn't see much of doubt in the mind of her head coach, Tracy Blackman. Yet this will be her starting pitcher for every game of the series, barring any type of injury. Fouled back. We talked about it last night, how Los Fresnos was very successful against one of the top pitchers in the nation, actually a finalist for Max Prep's Player of the Year, and actually scored 13 runs off of her in the deciding game. I think it was won, 13-6. And so this team is not afraid of any pitcher. We're talking about Los Fresnos. That's popped up. And that is going to be a catch right by the wall by Mia Rodriguez. We've talked about her great defensive abilities, just a freshman, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. So, no runs here in the top of the 6th. Still a 4-2 lead. Lady Falcons over the Lady Panthers. Mia Rodriguez, the young lady that just made that big play to end the top of the 6th, will lead off here in the bottom of the 6th. So 2 more at-bat opportunities. We're talking about innings for Weslaco to try to tie or take the lead and send this to a deciding 3rd game. Mia has struck out and flown out to center field, entered the series batting .400, and she will get a hit to lead off the bottom of the 6th. Maybe that big fielding play motivated her. And coming up next, Stacy Batista. We talked about her last inning, about her pitch hitting ability. Not surprised at all seeing her come in and come to the plate for Alexis Solis. Batista again had a big 2-run single up the middle against Harlan in Laredo in the deciding 2nd game, and I believe that moved Weslaco ahead. I think they were behind by 1 run and then took a 1-run lead, possibly 4-3 at that point. Swing and a miss. Had a big cut at that one. Strike 1. She was aiming to put that one in the parking lot over 230 feet. Just needs to be patient, though. That one fouled back so quickly. Pitcher ahead of the hitter, 0-2. Just where a pitcher likes to be. Stacy, we mentioned, hitting .422 this season. That is a ball. Quick throw to first base. Runner back easily. So keep in mind the tying run at the plate. Foul ball stays alive. Our umpires tonight, home plate, Freddie Martinez. First base, Renee Cruz. And at third base, Adrian Ramirez. Had 4 umpires when we were in Harlan, 2 from the San Antonio area, 2 from the Valley, but tonight, 3 umpires, all from the Valley. Outside, 2-2. So Stacy hanging tough at the plate, trying to get something going. Pitch high, 3-2. Keep in mind, for the Los Fresnos, the catcher calls the pitches. For Weslaco, the pitches are called by Mario Rodriguez, the head coach, so just a little different philosophy. That is popped up. Let's see if it stays in bounds. And the catcher will try to make an attempt for it. Can't get it. Maybe lost it in the lights. And that is a big break for Weslaco. Let's see if they can capitalize on that play. Catcher tried to get it. Lost it. We're talking about Samantha Campos, a very competent catcher. We talked about how she even calls the pitches just moments ago. But that time, no doing and making the out. Still 3-2. And that is going to be a called strike. Took the pitch and is called out. So we have 1 out, runner still at first. Julie Rodriguez is up. 1 for 2 tonight. Had a single in her last at bat. Seeing if she can help herself at the plate, the pitcher. That's going to be fouled back. Julie came into this series hitting .300. Hopefully, can capitalize here. Ball outside. Remember, runs can be scored against Los Fresnos. They lost the opener of the series to Warren 11-2 before winning the next 2 games. So far this season, Weslaco has not scored more than 2 runs in a game against this team. This is their 4th meeting. So they've had struggles getting to Caitlyn Perez. And that is going to be a single in the gap between center and left. We'll have a runner at least get to third, and we're going to have a play at the plate. The runner is out. Could not get underneath the tag. And Mia Fernandez is out. Now we're going to call, or have her dad actually come out, but actually in this role as head coach, coming out arguing obstruction at the plate. And he is very, very adamant, talking to the home plate umpire. We'll see how this turns out. Right now, though, it's an out. And it's going to stay that way. no catcher obstruction. Instead, an out at the plate. Mia Rodriguez tagged out at the plate. So now we have 2 outs. Julie goes to second. But again, Mia, who led off with a single, is thrown out at the plate. Tough situation, good throw, but this will be a controversial play if Weslaco loses. So, must move on. And coming to the plate, Marlene Chavarria, one of those seniors, would like to really contribute in this game. Again, she is the tying run at the plate, pops it up. Third baseman has it, and that is going to be the 3rd out of the inning. So what turned out to maybe be a promising inning as it started out goes for naught for Weslaco. And we've played now 6 complete. Panthers trailing the Lady Falcons. The score is 4-2.
Before Christine McCleary was a physical therapist, she was an honor student at Weslaco ISD, played sports, and was a cheerleader. She graduated from Ohio State University, then physical therapy school at Texas State University. Now she is Dr. Christine McCleary at Triumph Therapy and part of the clinical faculty at UTRGV School of Medicine. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Christine McCleary, WISD was the right choice.
Now we are going into the top of the 7th. Julie Rodriguez still out there. And needs a big inning of goose eggs. Don't want to get any more scoring. Want to keep this manageable to get back in. Let's see what happens. She is facing the number 2 hitter, Victoria Altamirano, and she will have at least a double in the gap between center and right, stand-up double, and that is going to be her 3rd hit of the ball game. So, nice game for her. Scored on her last hit, by the way. And Samantha Campos is next. She's reached on an error, the only error in this series so far between either teams, and also had that home run that scored Victoria that gave the lead to Los Fresnos. So it was a 2-2 game, and then the 2-run homer that gave the team the lead. That happened back in the top of the 5th. This time fouled back. It was promising in the beginning. Weslaco went ahead 2-0 in the 3rd, but then back-to-back innings of 2 runs apiece for the visitors have given them the lead. We are in the top of the 7th. Remember, game is scheduled for 7 innings. Weslaco has not scored, as we mentioned, since the 3rd. Only scored 1 time yesterday on Jules Garcia's single in the 6th. So bats need to come alive in the next half of inning, and defense must be stout now, especially with a runner at second and no outs. Want to get to that 3rd and deciding game. Julie throws a ball that's fouled back. 1-2 is the count. Again, Jules Garcia. A nice series. Had the home run today that brought in the 2 runs. And also 2 hits yesterday. 2 of the 4 hits for Weslaco yesterday. 1 that brought in the RBI. So in this series. So far, she is responsible for all 3 runs. Single yesterday and 2-run homer today in the 3rd inning. Going to need some production from other players in the bottom of the 7th. That popped up, but it's going to be off the roof of the dugout of the Lady Panthers, and it's a 1-2 count. Big night, of course, for Los Fresnos in more ways than one. Should they win, they move on in the playoffs. Sweet 16 round. But also, should they win, their coach, Tracy Blackman, career-wise will get her 300th win. Players, I don't think, are aware of this at this time, so it'll be a big surprise, I guess. I want to thank also for their staff, Matt Molina, one of their assistant coaches. Had a nice conversation with him before the game. I always appreciate when the opposition is helpful, and both Coach Blackman and Coach Marino have been helpful, and unfortunately that is going to be a double that will score a run. So on the double, Altamirano comes in, and Campos gets her 4th RBI of the series. 1 last night, 2 on the home run earlier. The home run in the 5th inning, and now another RBI on the double here. She's reached base 3 out of 4 times on an error, the homer, and the double. Had that double last night, so she has 2 doubles in the series. And someone you definitely don't want to see come to the plate. Maybe they're talking about intentionally walking her again. She's only been on base once. Actually, twice. She didn't, I guess, get on base on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning. But Crystal Perez, who homered twice yesterday, 3 RBIs yesterday, only has walked once intentionally and then also lined out to the pitcher. But she'll be next. 3rd baseman, older sister of the pitcher, Caitlyn Perez. Possibly some change in the lineup for Los Fresnos. Home plate umpire talking right now with their head coach, Tracy Blackman. Again, nail-biting time, if you're a Weslaco fan, using an old phrase. About an hour and 50 minutes into this game. And definitely with a 5-2 lead for Los Fresnos. Need to get some outs. No outs so far in this inning. 11 hits for Los Fresnos, 7 for Weslaco. Weather no longer a factor here, even though it's still 85 degrees. Humidity 82%. Winds at 11 miles an hour. Skies partly cloudy. Very cloudy for Weslaco fans as another single brings in a run. So another big inning right now for Los Fresnos. Remember, against Warren, they had a big inning late in the game. Had the big inning, actually 2 big innings. I think they scored 6 and 4 runs in the deciding 3rd game in the late innings, and 6 runs last night in the 5th inning. So once again starting to put together a big inning. Crystal Perez knocks in a run. And that is going to be her 4th RBI of the series. And her 3rd hit. At the plate, Kayla Jimenez has singled. This time long shot over the Y in center field, Lady Panthers sign, and that is going to be a 2-run homer. Crystal Perez will come in, and obviously Jimenez. And now the score is 8-2 on the 13th hit. So bats have been solid tonight once again, doing their damage. Another big inning, 4 runs already here in the 7th. Los Fresnos definitely trying to put some insurance runs on the board so they don't have to play at home tomorrow. And that's going to bring in Kat Reyes. She's going to see if she can get some outs going. Again, a hand injury earlier took her out of the game. It's short, but did come in to hit still. And she's pitching pretty wild right now there on the mound. Some high pitches, but we'll see what happens when actually faces a batter. Remember, maybe not a lot of time to warm up. I don't know if she was in the bullpen at all. So that might be a little problem with the wildness as she warms up. First base umpire talking to her. Possibly asking her if she's all right. But she stays in there in the circle. And we'll see what she can do. No runners on base, so right now the book will be closed for a while at least on Julie Rodriguez as a pitcher, and she'll be responsible for all 8 runs. Let's see how Kat does. Andrea Guevara at the plate. She singled and scored on Arlene Avalara's home run. Count is 3-0, so we talked about a little wildness that Kat had warming up so far. Has not settled down yet, facing the batter. And that's going to be a walk. Dakota Martinez now coming in. And she's coming in for Teresa Villa. We heard about Dakota talking to her head coach prior to this series. Said she was not afraid to use this player, a valuable player to the team. I don't really have many statistics on her, but her coach did say that, again, she was a valuable part of the team. And this is her first time to play. Ball 1. So 5 straight balls so far from Kat since she's come into the ball game. Who would be a pitcher possibly could come in? Yeah, emergency pitcher. Mia, maybe Mia, they said, talking right now to Alex Bravo, our scoreboard operator. He also says that Lexi Escamilla used to pitch. 2-0. Basically this season, it has been Kat and Julie. No, any game I've been to this year, I've never seen anybody else pitch but those two. But finally, a strike, so that's encouraging after 6 straight pitches to begin her stint on the mound. Cat does have a ball fouled off, so let's hope that's encouraging. Maybe finding the zone now. And that's going to be popped up. Romy going over, and Romy Nunez gets it. Nice job in foul territory for the first out of the inning. So the pinch hitter is out, Dakota. And again, the first out of the inning. Pops out to the first baseman, the flex player, Romy Nunez. Aileen Avelar now at the plate. We've talked about some of the things she's done tonight. Two-run homer, singled. 1-1. Cat looking to get a bit of a rhythm now. Good sign. 2-1. Of course, all the Weslaco fans still here, very loyal. And that is going to be a grounder past Cat and into center field, bobbled for a moment. And a run will come in. Just getting under the tag at home plate was Guevara. So big hit. Some fans disagreeing, so is head coach Mario Rodriguez. He comes out, but that won't change things. Third RBI of the night for Avelar, I believe, or fourth RBI of the series. So 5 runs here in the 7th inning. Remember, 6 in the 5th yesterday for Los Fresnos. And Julissa Laraga is now coming to the plate. That's encouraging. Gets ahead on the count now with the batter, 0-1. I believe a second time up tonight now for Laraga, who came in for Sophie Varela. First time up, struck out. Big inning, 14 hits now. Double the hits for Los Fresnos over Weslaco on a grounder to first. And Romy thinks about trying to get the runner heading to third, but wisely just steps on the bag for the unassisted out. So we see Laraga is out. Caitlyn Perez is now up. And she is going to be the 9th hitter of the inning. 2 outs. And also, of course, the pitcher. Couple hits tonight. Wind up in the pitch, and that's going to be hit toward left field, and that's out of here. So Caitlyn Perez hits a solo shot for the home run. Remember when she had the walk-off earlier this season at Los Fresnos against the Lady Panthers and gets her third hit of the night. 7 runs. So we know in a couple playoff games, at least in the last 2 rounds, we know that Los Fresnos has had as many as 6 runs in an inning, and now 7. Don't know what they actually did. I know they had some big scoring games in the by-district round. Don't know if they ever had a 7-run inning then, but they've done it tonight. Lucky 7 for them. 15 hits overall. Just the 7's up there on the board for Weslaco, but just 7 hits. So now we have Victoria Altamirano up again. She started all this off with a single in this inning. She is the 10th batter. This is her 2nd time up. Regardless of what the final score is, we all have to say Los Fresnos is the real deal. Last round, area round, they upset the number 1 6A team in the state, Warren, in 3 games, and now playing very tough against a good Weslaco team. Don't want to just sound like a homer, but this team has won 19 games this year. Very strong team, very strong district, 32 6A. Remember in the last round, it was Weslaco and Los Fresnos beating teams from San Antonio, Harlan and Warren. So you got to give a lot of credit to the district, 32 6A. Good showing in the state playoffs in girls softball. Count is 3-1. Base is empty. Cat has the pitch, and it's going to be off her glove into center field. So sometimes you can be unlucky too. 3rd hit of the night for Altamirano, and that is actually going to be her 2nd hit of the inning. Samantha Campos is up. She had a double in this inning. Home run earlier. Has 3 RBIs in this game. Her double earlier in this inning, Broughton Altamirano with the first run of the inning. Since then, 6 more scored. (11-2) again, the score. One and 1 the count. Again, a pleasure covering these games this year, getting to know the players. It's been exciting. Looking back, there's a lot of good memories. This right now is not one of them, obviously, but we've seen a lot of good games this year, and you try to emphasize the positive when you look back. That's a ball. And always nice to make new friends, especially up here in the press box. Alex Bravo. Nice to meet him and get to know him. Obviously, we know him from basketball too. Helped us out during that. And that is going to be a long hit. Oh, no, it's caught. Caught at the wall. Outstanding effort by Mia Rodriguez. And if this happens to be the last defensive play we see of the season, what a way to go. So it was a big inning of 7 runs, and it is now 11-2 going into the bottom of the 7th. We see Los Fresnos leads Weslaco.
Before Danya Pulido became an attorney, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a member of the National Honor Society and a cheerleader. She earned her degree from St. Mary's University, then graduated from St. Mary's University School of Law. Now she is Danya Pulido, attorney at law for Texas Legal Services Center in Austin. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Danya Pulido, Weslaco ISD was the right choice.
But right now we are going into the bottom of the 7th. Weslaco trailing 11-2.
Panthers, number 12,
Jordan Diaz, a senior. We always want to be positive, but very much could be her last at bat. And what's really cool is that a couple of the seniors are batting in this inning. 2 of the 4 seniors are leading off. Jordan Diaz and Lily Torres. So it's great that they've got one more chance to get something going. And there's Diaz popping out to short. So Jordan, we salute you on a fine career if this is your last at bat. It's been a pleasure watching you play in right field and some of the big hits you've had here in the playoffs.
number 7, Lily Torres.
Lily Torres. And of course, I've been like a broken record this season saying our only lefty in the lineup. But she's been fun to watch. Her little slap hits, making the infield come in. This time, she is going to get on base. So good for you, Lily. Glad to see you get on. And that's your second hit of the night. Last time she was forced out at second on a fielder's choice. Alexia Escamilla, we talked about how great her sisters played in the 2016 run to the Final Four. She establishing herself, only a sophomore. I know at least one of her sisters is here tonight, so I know they're very proud of her whole family. And it's great to see the legacy that she is carrying on for the Escamilla family and Weslaco softball. 0-2 the count. See if she can keep things going. High. 1-2. That was a riser for sure. Even I can tell that pitch. So, well, off speed riser. So, here we go. Strike. So quickly, 2 outs. And should this game end after the next batter, Weslaco will fall to 19-5 on the season, 0-3 against Los Fresnos. Los Fresnos will move on to the Sweet 16. If I said 0-3, it's 0-4. That's correct. Sorry, I didn't want to make quite as bad, but it would be 0-4. But Jules Garcia, of course, she's had a great series. All the RBIs in this series have been for her. And let's see if she can keep it alive. Foul ball. The Lady Falcons, again, they move on. They win. They'll be 22-3. And they've swept all 3 of their series should they win. 2 of their 3 series. Went to a deciding 3rd game against Warren. Highlights tonight will be on Channel 4, by the way, and Channel 23. And that is the 3rd out of the inning. So a ground out ends it by Jules Garcia. And the final score, 11-2. It is Los Fresnos Lady Falcons over the Lady Panthers of Weslaco. And a great season. We've enjoyed it. Best of luck to the 4 seniors. I want to thank my crew tonight, Vinny Berry and also Val Zamora. Good luck to the Lady Falcons representing 32-6A district in the Sweet 16. So the Lady Panthers come out and take a final bow. And again, let's look forward to the 2022 season, right? So for everyone at K-West that's been involved with Lady Panthers softball this year, it's been great. I'm Scott Harrison. One final time, 11-2, Los Fresnos takes this regional quarterfinal, best of 3, 2-0. So long from Weslaco, Texas. Have a safe weekend, everybody.